All right, let us say hello once again to Daniel Rodriguez. The questions can now stop, ladies and gentlemen, in regards to when he is fighting again, who he is fighting against. We found out very recently he will fight Kevin Holland September 10th, UFC 279 in Las Vegas. Great addition to this card. D-Rod, welcome back, my man. Not just here talking to me, but back to having a fight on the books. This must feel good.
Yeah, man, it's a great feeling. It's been a long year since my last fight, and it just so happened to come back with a banger.
Absolutely. So, I mean, this is kind of just from where I sit, this is kind of a weird one last week in terms of a media perspective, because Kevin goes on Instagram, I think it was maybe a week ago today, and he puts out this video. And at the end of the video, he says that he's fighting you September 10th. So, of course, in our role, we reach out to people to make sure that that is accurate. And I was told by multiple people that it was being discussed, but it wasn't done. And then end of the week, it's agreed upon. UFC announces it, and here we are. So how did this all come together? What happened during the stretch of time when Kevin announced the fight on social media to the fight actually being announced by the promotion?
Yeah, it was actually a surprise to me. They asked me, what was it, Tuesday night? And I don't know if he had put out that he was going to fight me or not. They called me around Tuesday night, around 10 o'clock, like, yo, you want to fight Kevin Holland September 10th? And yeah, it was kind of one of those offers I couldn't refuse.
There you go. I mean, this works out great for you because the last time I talked to you was International Fight Week. We're right outside T-Mobile. And you said you liked the idea of Kevin Holland, but the main goal for you was to get a call to step in on short notice against anybody. So this one checks all the boxes, right?
Yeah, it could have been anybody. They could have asked me to fight fucking anybody, would have said yes to anybody. It just the luck of the draw right there. And fortunately, it's a fan that everybody wants to see. It's a fans fight right there, and me and him get to squash a little beef. I was scheduled to fight him my second fight. He got injured, and he'd be talking this shit, but times, it's time to, for me to speak with my hands,
There's been like beef between you two. I mean, I know you guys are linked to fight, but what's been said that you remember?
I mean, really, it's him. There's only a handful of guys that are trying to call me out or trying to fight me, and I respect being called out. I accept the challenge in every way, but I just didn't like how he was calling me out while I was injured, where I couldn't do shit about it. But I'm 100% now, and I accept the challenge.
How's the hand? Good to go? I mean, 100%, but feel good? No hesitation? Nothing?
Nah, nothing, man. I can't wait to get out there and throw that motherfucker.
You talked about being linked. It was May 2020. It was like right when the pandemic started and the UFC had just come back, and Kevin beats Anthony Hernandez, and he was going to drop to 170 to fight you before he suffers an injury. And then this is that incredible year that gets talked about where he goes 5-0 overall. He was the fighter of the year in a lot of people's eyes. And you could have gotten the chance to kind of stop that train in its tracks before it really got started. You ended up fighting Gabe Green, got the win, which was fine. But were you watching Kevin's year sort of play out to yourself and thinking, damn it, like I could have fought him. Maybe I beat him and this never happens for him. Maybe this happens for me.
Yeah, man. I mean, I did hear about him, fighting as many times as I was trying to get in there. And yeah, it was just like he was on his rise. I was doing my own thing, and he has a couple fights in the welterweight division since coming down. And his last opponent was my first opponent in the UFC, and have similar. We both finished it in similar fashion, and he's got a little bit of momentum. I'm coming off a real big win, and I've had some time off. I've had a pretty decent amount of time to let my body heal and recover from that crazy run that I went through. But yeah, I'm just real eager to get back in there, man.
So I think we're like 11 days away as we speak right now. Is this? You're super active, man. Like you're just bang, 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 bang. And I know you had the hand surgeries, multiple hand surgeries, and you're trying to recoup. But 11 days before a fight, a big one at that, is this the best you've ever felt this close to a fight because of how active you typically are?
Yeah, I mean, my ultimate goal really was to just, be get back into shape where I'd be able to take short notice calls and I feel great. I look great in sparring. Killing all my practices. I've been consistent with training, and the opportunity came, and it could have been anybody, like I said. So it was like 2 weeks is a good amount of time to just pick up the pace and just bang out fucking a quick little hard fight camp. And and fortunately it's at a catch weight, and we don't have to worry about making weight or dying during training. So the fact that I could still eat a good amount of food and to fuel these crazy fucking workouts is gonna make for an even better fight.
Oh, it's at a catch weight.
Yeah, we're fighting at 180 pounds.
Oh, okay. I was not aware of that. So you
Yeah,
broke some news
so
to me.
so
Okay.
I'm completely comfortable in that aspect. It's not even a concern. We're not worried about a weight cut at all. So yeah, that's weight off. So that makes for a better fight. I think so. I get to keep a little power, and I'm curious to see how I perform at that weight.
That makes a lot of sense. I was even saying like just do it at 185. Like who cares? It's just two welterweights basically fighting at middleweight. Like it's we're not going to be like if you beat Kevin Holland, well, this doesn't affect his welterweight
Yeah.
rankings. Now he's a middleweight.
Yeah. It's pretty. It benefits the both of us in a way. In a
Yeah.
sense, we're both. I could make weight. I mean, I could make weight. We just chose not to. So that's cool with me.
Yeah, that works out perfect. What have you made of the sort of reaction to the fight itself? Because I mean, you've been around the sport long enough to know that this is a very recency bias sport. If you sit out for a year, oftentimes there's new fans and they might even be hearing your name for the first time, or they just kind of forgot. But in your case, they haven't forgotten at all, man. Like they were very pumped to see you come back. Like I told you in Vegas, every time we do a matchmaking show, everyone wants to know what you're doing and where you're at. So what have you made? I mean, a year away and you're still getting all this love, still getting all this respect and all this excitement behind you. Have you noticed that since this fight was announced?
Yeah, man. This is like kind of one of the fights that since being injured are like that name's been thrown at me so much. It's kind of really this fight is like for the fans. If you really ask me, I think we're the real main event as far as matchups go. This fucking fight is like you know it's got me really excited to get back in there at the T-Mobile Arena on a huge card. I mean, actually, I think that we helped make the card a little bit better. I'm not gonna say a little bit better. I think we helped make that card fucking dope.
Yeah. And this one needed this. This card needed this fight. It really did. I mean, I'm not trying to downplay who's fighting because like you guys are getting out there, getting after and doing the damn thing, but fans want to spend $75. It's kind of a tough hang, but now that this fight's on there, it's a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm excited how much the fans are excited to see a fucking war.
Yeah. And the build to that card is gonna be crazy because Khamzat Chimaev and Nate Diaz, they're getting ready to main event. I mean, there's just so many storylines attached to it. It's Nate's final fight on the deal, and Chimaev gets a big name while he waits for a title shot. And obviously, things have gotten a lot more interesting in that regard over the last couple of weeks. But everybody's looking past Nate Diaz here, man. What do you think about that one? How do you think it plays out? And can Nate Diaz do what most people feel he cannot do?
Man, I think this is a big opportunity for Nate to kind of like really, just set his name in stone as far as being one of the great UFC fighters, on top of being, a free agent at, for that part. I think that, he would want to go out and go out there with a bang, and off to bigger, better things if he doesn't resign with the UFC. I think we could both agree that that's most likely not going to be his plan. So yeah, the UFC gave him a real tough matchup, and I don't know. I think we all want to see Diaz go out on a high note, but yeah, I think he's got a really, really tough fight, and of course, we all want to see Nate Diaz do great.
And then we found out also that Tony Ferguson's going back up to welterweight to fight Li Jingliang. And as often as people question the Chimaev Diaz booking, and we kind of understand why it's being booked because of the time frames and the contracts and all that stuff, this one was a real shocker to a lot of people because it's just kind of out of left field. Not like Tony going to 170, but just fighting a guy like Lee is just kind of weird and surprising. So what did you think about that when you found out about that fight?
I didn't know about the fight till my fight was announced, and I seen a flyer. I was like, "Oh shit, Tony's fucking fighting!" But I know that I've had the opportunity to train with Tony, you know, since his last fight, and yeah, he's been grinding. He's been training different places. I think he was in New Mexico for like past few weeks. He came out here to Vegas, and he's been mixing it up. And you know, that's something new to him, and I'm glad I was able to be a part of it, you know. But at the same time, I'm like, hell yeah, you know, because we had this conversation of like, let's fucking get it, and it's dope to be able to be on the same card, you know, right, and doing what we love to do.
We have a new welterweight champion since the last time we spoke, because I remember that conversation in Vegas, and you were like, "Hey, listen, Leon's a good fighter, but Usman's gonna win. He's gonna take him down. He's gonna beat him." And it's just the typical Usman's got to do what he's got to do. And it looked like you were right for a while, and a lot of other people were too. And then boom, head kick with less than a minute left, and Leon has a Baba O'Reilly moments, highlight reels forever. Every package video about the UFC and some of the iconic moments, that one is going to be in there multiple times from multiple angles. So I assumed you watched the fight. What did you think? What was your reaction to it?
Oh man, I think it's kind of like one of those moments where, like, all right, I was like, man, Usman got this. You know, we were kind of like already like, so how about those other fights? You know, not really paying attention. Boom. Leon Edwards head kicks him and finishes the fight. We got a new welterweight champion, and now everybody's like, oh shit! Like now everybody's like, you know, on edge, you know, and trying to see what are the next moves. And I feel like this fight coming up that I got coming up is definitely a good one. That'll, you know, a solid win will put me up back in the rankings where I belong to be.
Definitely a momentum builder. But you mentioned your fight with Kevin Holland, September 10th. We're knocking on the door. What's the headline going to read? How are we going to get this thing done?
Man, you know, D-Rod's comeback, you know, I went out there and dominated, and just, I can't tell you how I'm going to win the fight, but I know I'm going to win the fight.
Awesome. Daniel, I appreciate it, man. I'm glad we were able to get you. I know we were kind of playing tag a little bit, but we made it happen like we always do. Best of luck to you, my man. We'll see you back in there September 10th. Everyone's fired up for it, for this fight with Kevin Holland, my man. Thank you again.
Oh, yeah. Glad to be on, bro. See you.